Hi, this is Seema, and the topic for discussion today is depression. I think that the most appropriate time to be talking about this subject is while everybody is in quarantine and lockdowns across the world and not in a position to take up our responsibilities as far as the job is concerned. We're all okay managing our homes and our families and responsibilities this side. I thought that the subject is pertinent for bringing up at a point like this because we are not in a position to function at our optimum best as far as career objectives may be concerned, certain other professional goals may be concerned. And for some people who are in search of a job, this lockdown would have been the worst thing that can happen to them. For those who are startups and whose monies have come in, but they were looking at results and outputs, again, the damage must be quite intensive. We can also say that those businesses that depend on sales and actually meeting people have suffered quite a bit and will continue to. In fact, the next few years is what this anticipated impact is going to be. Having said some of these things, you must understand that depression need not be the outcome of a physical event, because the realities of depression is that there are two types of depression. One is depression connected to an event, an episode, or a loss, which means it can follow death, it can follow news of disease of a loved one, or it can come following a divorce, loss of job, so on and so forth. The other is when the depression has got nothing to do with an external stimuli, but the stimulus is within you, which is the chemical imbalance which causes depression. So the first is reactive, whereas the second is internal stimulus dependent. Now, I want to spend some time on telling you something about the latter because the former is, as you know, condition or event dependent, and its triggers could be enormous, actually. Now, coming to the second subject, which is depression that happens because of chemical balances inside you, how it works and functions is that scientists today believe that serotonin, which is a very critical protein which transmits messages into your brain, is actually in a deficit. The body is not in a position to produce sufficient serotonin, and when this happens, you experience mood change first, and then over time, with the kind of depleted serotonin, a person can actually dip into depression. So serotonin is actually available in your digestive tract, and it is found in your blood platelets. So another interesting connector is that anybody who suffers from anemia for too long can also go into depression. A third variety of depression is SAD, or seasonal affective disorder, which is connected to weather, and the darker things are and there is no sunlight and you kind of stay in a gray environment which is musty and possibly not necessarily giving you the kind of vitamin D that you need, can push you into SAD, and this type of depression is limited to a particular season thus. But what we are going to talk about today is our realization, which has to be strong on one subject. That is, when we come out of the lockdown and when the quarantine's over and behind us, we've got to remember that coronavirus could have pushed a lot of people into depression. It could have put people into depression even on the personal side, those who've not had a great marriage going on, people who were forced to stay together and discover that their incompatibilities can never be resolved, who will have to head towards taking some critical decisions as far as children and monies and life reshape is concerned. Yes, you've got to find all these people along with those people whose businesses didn't do well, whose businesses could not start, whose sales have stuck, whose plans and trajectories are completely going to get a knockover. You're going to see like a plethora of people either on the brink of depression or already in depression or deep in depression. What is going to become our responsibility and duty, I mean, apart from the things that the government is doing, which is to take care of financial burdens and possibly make it slightly easier on people, apart from all that, we as organizations and HR are going to have to put on our best soldier makeup, because what you're going to be responsible for is the identification of these people. You're going to have to be far more observant of signs and possible suggestions of them being in a bad space. And please understand that not everybody comes to work and expresses their problems. They are not going to be in a position to put their issues or their tragedies on the table for public discussion. When you find people going through something that is difficult for them to deal with, your tolerance has to be much higher, your patience at its best, your listening ear functional, your ability to read between the lines, and of course, suggest to them support groups that might be in a position to hear them, to give the kind of respite that they need, or even take up professional counseling if need be. So I want you to just walk away with one sensitivity when you come back to the workplace, and that's going to be no need to fret about how you really did your work from home. You don't have to really spend your time talking about how you navigated your 21 days of lockdown. What you're going to have to focus about mainly are the next 2 years. Next 2 years are going to be the most difficult years anyone has ever seen in their living time, because I want you to also accept that we were the beneficiaries of the golden era of economy. This generation did not see a war. We did not see smallpox. We did not endure a plague. We never had to see famine. We kind of conquered a lot of our human needs with green revolution, organic this and that, and then of course technology coming out doing things that we couldn't have envisaged otherwise. So the most gifted working class of people that ever walked this planet was us, okay? And this is our first powwow down, and well, the wow part of this is that we will survive this, but when we're out of this, promise yourself that you will be there for everybody who didn't have it good and will not have it good for the next 2 years. Thank you.